my mom and dad bought a piece of property somewhere back in the Depression time, in the 30s, and they started raising a family here on this farm. I went to A&T. My daddy said he couldn't manage send both of us back. I had a sister at that time in Winston. So I dropped out in December of '65, and I got drafted in February of '66. I came back. I could have gone back to school, and I got a job with E.I. DuPont. I had cows while I was in Vietnam. I had cows prior to going in service, and at that time cows were cheap. They didn't pay anything for cows, so they better job to keep them at home, keep them than sell them, because they could help keep the place clean. So and then when I came back from Vietnam, my daddy was farming, and it was such a tough time at that time to get rid of the tobacco. And my daddy just got disgusted. He was, at that time, Daddy was 65, I think. And he says, after this year, you can have it. We quit the tobacco in 1977. After that, they did away with the tobacco allotment.
I was still working working in the tobacco.
We did a lot of the work in that tobacco after we got home from our other job. We didn't hire anybody.
You did?
No, we did the work ourselves. And once we got it out of the field, she and I did the work ourselves.
That was hard work.
I was used to it. I was raised on a farm.
Growing up, my dad worked at DuPont, and then he would come home. He worked shift work. So he would work, and then he would come home. He would work all night, and then he would come home and he'd get on the tractor for hours. He'd come in, and you could only see his eyes because he'd be dusty from head to toe, but he seemed the happiest then.
Got in the hog business, got in the cow business, we got into the forestry business. About everything I had, it was I call it a one-man show. Over there to the hog house, I worked it about 13 years by myself.
We got our first hogs in November of '96. In fact, it was Thanksgiving Day of 1996. I was administrative assistant. Total, probably 30-some years in my workforce, yes.
I'm on the Soil and Water Board now and the FSA. Well, my daddy was on it, but he was an advisor. He couldn't vote, but he was an advisor. And whenever he quit farming, and he told them that he was going to resign, and they said, well, they was joking with him and said, well, you can't get off the board unless you bring us a name of somebody to replace you. He said, and they told me, he said, I got one, my son. So I was on the board. I've been on the board since about 1977 as a advisor. Chip Starling said, you go ahead and run. So I ran, and I got elected.
You've been elected every time.
They said I was the first African-American chair in the nation. I was not the first minority, but I was the first African-American.
And also for Farm Bureau.
Yeah, I'm the first black president North Carolina Farm Bureau's had. I ran again for the FSA, and I got elected. So when I get off, I will serve about 44 years on it. After we got rid of the tobacco, we went beans, corn, and milo. We planted some wheat because of rotation purpose. We worked some with cost share on the fencing to keep the cows out of the stream. We worked some with them on setting out the pine trees. Worked some with them on cover crops to keep down erosion. Worked some with them on cost share to tilt drain, grain drill. And we worked on the pine tree pre-commercial thinning and burning. The first year we planted corn with no till. First year we made 152 bushels of corn that year. That's the first year that we had ever made that much corn, and it was no till. And I often say I wish my daddy could have been living to have seen that.
And then a lot of that knowledge too came from North Carolina Department of Agriculture, where we go to workshops and conferences and things. That was a big help. So this is one reason why we enjoy having the conference, because you learn things from year to year, maybe new things, maybe a different way of doing the old things. So it really helps out.
And then you talk to other people, other people at the farm that doing things different.
In April 30th, 2019, he was in an almost fatal automobile accident. Ever since then, he cannot farm. So that's why he's not farming. Psychologically, it's killing him. But, you know, you have to do what you have to do. But that's the reason we had to make changes. And at that time, we had to get rid of the cows, and because he was incapacitated for some months. So we had to make changes. But otherwise, you'd have to run him down to be with him now, because he'd be out there on the farm.
Until he had his accident and we actually sold the cows, I never knew that land without cows on it. And that was hard. That was really, really hard. So I used to say, I think he loved cows more than he loved me, until he sold some one time because it was time to pay my college bill. But he loved those cows, and those cows loved him. He had a relationship with animals that I have never seen before. I mean, you know, you see people relationships with horses and dogs, but to have a herd of cow to just come up because they see you drive up in a truck. I could drive up in the truck with my mom, put the little hat on, but they wouldn't walk up like they did with my dad.
When I got hurt on a Saturday. We had 4,000 hogs go out Monday. One of the guys at Preston's Farm helped make some arrangement, sent somebody that they knew would be a good person to take care of the hog. So we leased the hog farm to him. Then I have a friend over here in Sampson County. He and I had been helping one another out, loaning a piece of equipment. When this one, he moved all of those cows. He graded my cows as if they were his. But we were the best of friends. We still are. We're the best of friends. We sold trees this year, and you know, we had some trees. I had about 7 acres that I was pruning. You might have heard me say about for light poles. So we sold them this year.
We had a young man in the community who was on dialysis, and he would help a lot. He was like our son. Good guy. Well, the Lord took him September a year ago, 2 years ago. And that November, when we had the conference in Lumberton, God sent us another one.
God has blessed us with a person that has treated my parents like his parents. He's treated me like a sister. And he is so excited. And you know, you always say you watch young people, because when young people gravitate to older people and want to do things like farming, we don't have that a lot. And that's one of the things that he's done. So I see now he's going to bring new ideas, and we should listen to them and see what he brings. And then he brings a spark to my dad's eyes. When my dad talks about him, he lights up. I mean, I'm his only child. So this gives him a son that can assist in the farming and love to do the things that he loves to do.
He probably would have been here today if we'd have said, yes, come on. He is just interested in farming. He has a master's degree, and all he wants to do is farm. So he is the godsend that we've been looking for. We've got a lot of work, bush hogging and disking needs to be done on the farm. Al is not able to do it medical-wise, and he probably would be the one that would do that and really get our farm back to where it was 5 years ago. Our daughter keeps up with everything. She's our financial person, our accounting person, and she does our taxes, so she knows what's going on. And we don't make a move without consulting her. So if something should happen to us, she can run the farm. She knows who to contact and everything to run the farm. As far as selling the farm, no, we don't see that happening.
I think we're going to move into another era where we may come up with different things that we need to do with the farm and make it more sustainable, and listen to Ron's ideas, listen to my dad's ideas, and kind of put them together to figure out where our next step is with the farm and things that we need to do.